Let's bring in Caleb Joseph, Blue Jay Central analyst on Sportsnet. Are you on the, what are you, which
14th hole.
14th hole now?
Probably, yeah.
Just finished the 18th, grabbing a little lunch, and then about to turn. You guys been outside? It's absolutely gorgeous out here.
We haven't.
No, we haven't. We're inside a studio.
Work.
We have to work.
Yeah, we have to work, bud.
We have to fill the time when you're not on.
Yeah.
Man, so sorry for you guys.
How'd you do today? How'd it go?
Well, you talked about a guaranteed win. I need a guaranteed ball that will find the green. So if I could find the green, I'd be pretty good. But I was a little scattery today.
Is your golf swing better than your baseball swing?
Way better. You know
why?
Because I figured out how to actually move. I figured out how to hit a baseball at age 35, and it was too late. And it really does translate. It's the same swing bent over, but if you use the right movements, it's pretty amazing how similar they are when you start to dissect.
I told you the story that my wife got me lessons for my birthday for a golf instructor. I took one swing. She laughed at me. That's how bad it was. It was awful.
Well, I have seen Hazel hit a golf ball, and she's very impressive. And
no, it wasn't Hazel. It was the instructor. It was the person.
Okay. I was going to say.
I mean,
she always laughs at me.
Hazel laughs at him all the time.
She always laughs at me, but it was the instructor.
Okay, so
she had her hand over her mouth trying not to laugh.
You made the right decision and put the clubs away. You did the right thing there.
Yeah, I've used them once.
How was your exit velo?
Oh, good point.
All of my metrics were really good. I still shot 78 though.
Underline.
So I'm going to stay with the process, and everything's good except the result.
There you go. That's everything's good except the results.
Dig in there a little. Just dig it.
So Caleb, we've the same as everybody else in the city. We got no answers.
No.
We don't have any answers.
Yeah.
We're so bereft of answers, we're asking callers to give us answers to what's wrong with this team. But they can't keep running out 1, 2, 3, 4, can they? I understand. I don't know who you replace it with. I
truly
just
answered your question.
But
sure they can.
Man, really?
Yeah. Who else?
Just change it up somehow, no?
It is. It's confounding, really, to be honest with you. I struggle with this back and forth yo-yo game because you have to get those guys going to get to where you want to go, but they're obviously not going. But if you think changing the order is going to get them going, then you're probably living under a rock. There are options you can go down. You can bring up a couple guys, but those are more spark plug type guys than engine guys. But can you really motivate a player like Guerrero Jr. or Bichette by moving them down in the order and maybe hitting the Ernie Clement? I don't know. I don't think that's the case. And so I don't blame John Schneider for hanging in there. There's no quick answer. That's the biggest thing is a lot of people have been around this game a long time, and you're caught scratching your head with what absolutely has to happen. And what is a bit intriguing to me is kind of the one guy that's not struggling is a guy that's 39 in his first year as a Blue Jay.
Yeah,
and that's just what I'm trying to figure out. What is the secret sauce that he has? Is it experience? Is it just ability to lock it in? That's what I'm more or less trying to figure out. And then how do those other guys grab whatever Turner has and run with it?
Anything you're seeing from Springer? He's hitting 154 with no homers with runners on base. He's got 5 RBIs. Anything you're seeing from him that would give a fan hope that he's going to turn this around? A slow starter, he keeps telling, and everybody tells us that. But I think we're past that. He's old enough now, and I think that sort of, shorten that up a little bit and start to try and figure it out. Anything you're seeing that you think that will happen?
Yeah, it's long, it's late. For me, he's not on time. He's just rarely on time for really either pitch. And we've talked about being in the gray area forever. If you're late on the fastball, you're in a heap. If you're early on the breaking ball, you're in a heap. And I'm at the point with Springer now, whereas I don't really care if you want to foul off fastballs, but you're going to have to do something against break ball. You're going to have to really hammer that breaking ball. And he's just missing both of them. And you can't have that from a player that's paid like he is and a player that's hitting at the top of the order, that's getting a lot of ABs. I wonder age-wise if it is age or if he just gets caught in the what if. And I talked to Justin Turner, talked about this on Blue Jay Central. I asked Turner, what do you got like on the whole of this lineup? And he said, I think they've got good plans, and they get up there, and right before they're going to try and execute that plan, right before the pitcher throws the ball, it's that 5% of, I might be sitting heater, but what if he throws me a slider? It's that little what if that gives that 1% of doubt, which takes you off the fastball, which puts you in between. And so what I see with Turner is a committed swing. He just rarely gives at-bats away, and that for me is a commitment to his plan. And I don't think it's as easy for a Springer just to say, hey, look, go hit the fastball. I'm not sure he, can get on time and get it in the position right now, to be honest with you. When's the last time you seen George Springer hit velocity foul to the pull side 385 feet? Like, I don't even know. I mean, every fastball swing is going backwards or going back over the first base dugout. So that's a bit of a microcosm with the entire offense for me. Like, if they're just constantly caught in between, except for one guy, and that's Turner.
Is it a hard thing to say no to a bunch of khakis that are giving you information? And it just, look, I couldn't say no, CJ. I'm sure it was tough for you to say no because we weren't, the big time names making the big time money. I had to shake my head and, think that
and
everything you were saying, no, I had to do it. I at least had to try to do it. That's how I was going to stay in the big leagues, is at least give the old college try and go up there and try and kick it to my ear and, 60-40 on my backside and create a little loft and, be late and jam myself and just at least it looks like I'm trying to do exactly what you're telling me to do. That's my question is, are they, you think, good enough when it comes to between the ears just to say, you know what, I appreciate it, but I'm good. I'm going to go up there and do my own thing?
Yeah, well, I don't think the Stars needed anything other than somebody to put a ball on a tee. I mean, I played with Manny Machado, and when he was struggling, somebody was there just to put the ball on the tee. I sat in the cage and watched his routine day after day after day. Same with Nelson Cruz, same with Mark Trumbo when they were hot. The Stars don't need somebody to tell them what to do. They just need somebody to put it on there and let them figure it out. And that is a bit of a trap sometimes that I know everybody's yelling and screaming, fire the hitting coach. And I understand what they're saying, but the Stars and I think the top three that we're talking about, they are not young anymore. These guys are 5, 6, 7. Springer's close to 10 years service time.
Got his 10 years a couple days ago.
What it takes.
Yeah.
He should know exactly what's going on. Shouldn't have anybody having to tell him how to switch it up. So yeah, I was that same guy. If they told me to swing left-handed, I went up there left-handed and making sure that they're seeing me swing left-handed. I think your guys like Addison Barger and Schneider and even Ernie Clement, those are the guys that are impressionable.
Yep.
For me, it's you use that info to then generate whatever your plan wants to be. Like, that should be singular. You use the info at their age and their experience. They should be able to sift through it. I'm not using that as a scapegoat anymore. If they were first-year players, I would say I do understand it could be confusing trying to figure out which is which. These guys are being paid $20 million. They're in arbitration. They're not a rookie anymore. Take whatever you want, leave whatever you want. There doesn't even have to be a conversation, but show that you have some sort of game plan. The biggest thing for me is show that there is an adjustment. If you're late on the fastball, George, and you continue to swing at it, show me a 500-foot pulled homer foul that you are making an adjustment. Show me something. It can't be more of the same and expect a different result.
Well said.
Really well said.
Yeah,
the good news is you only have George Springer under contract for 2 more years at $22.5 million.
75 more million.
I will say this about
right.
Springer, and I do need to defend him a little bit. The path is fine. Okay, like, I don't think his path is like terrible and he's swinging up or he's swinging down. Like, I do think sometimes Vladdy does have a tendency to get a little path issue going. Springer's path is fine. It's just all about commitment and contact point, being ready on time. That's another thing that Turner said. I said, what are you most worried about or concentrating on when you go to the plate? So first off, I've got my plan of attack, but second of all, I have to be on time. And when you see guys that are just a little bit out in front early in the count on a breaking ball, and they're just a little bit behind a fastball, they're just not on time. There's 2 things you can control as a hitter: being on time and making your first move on time, and having a plan. Other than that, you're reacting to whatever that guy is throwing you. And so those are two things that I key in on. Was he on time and ready, and did he have a plan? If the answer is no, don't even look at the swing. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. The out was made before you even made a move to the ball. So I do think his path is fine. If he can just get on one side, whether it's hard or soft, and just stay on it for Springer, I do think he can hit a little bit.
Give him credit, too. The defensive side of the ball it's excellent. Like, he's wanting to play defense, which is hard to do when you're struggling offensively. It really is.
Especially as a superstar. You're exactly right. He's made he made a game-saving play against the Dodgers, and it's so easy as a higher-paid player to kind of mope around and be selfish and mule lip a little bit, that you're not hitting. But you're exactly right. It's a great point, Kevin, that he has gone out and played excellent defense and has actually won them a couple games with his glove.
Mule lipped. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big
I got
lip.
that a lot in Double-A. I got that a lot. Hey, quit mule lipping, boy.
I like that one.
That's a good one.
I might have to use that sometime. Matter of fact, I'm going to write it down. How would you play it with Alek Manoah, and how do you think the Jays will play it with Alek Manoah?
Yeah, if I had a perfect world, I would give him one more start. But I just don't
in
think
the minors, right? One more start. One more start.
Yeah,
in the minors.
one more in the minors. I loved the arm speed that he featured. The arm looked like it had a lot of life, and that tells me he's used his lower half properly. That arm is just effortlessly whipping there. He wasn't falling off as violently and uncontrollably as we've seen him in the past. The breaking ball, I love that shape, that kind of 12-6 downer shape. I think that is the one that he's looking for. He had it plenty against the Indianapolis Indians in that AAA start. I just think that for me, if I'm looking at Chris Bassett, if I'm looking at Kevin Gausman, they're just kind of telling me without telling me, with the eye test, that they need these extra days. Yes, it is the first month of the season. Yes, they've had a couple short starts, but I just feel like they need the extra rest. And going to a 4-man rotation last year, I don't know how they survived that. It was nothing short of a miracle that all 4 of those guys not only stayed healthy, but continued to perform at the level they did. To ask them to do that a second year, even if it's for another 2 weeks or so, it's a lot, but they're up against the clock with Manoah. And so it all makes sense. It's almost like a perfect world for Manoah. He's at the end of the timetable. He punches out 12 in 6 innings, and there's an injury. It almost feels inevitable. I would prefer him get one more, but I wouldn't be angry or frustrated at all if they do give him that 5th start.
CJ, you've been on a team with an offensive expectation, and they are not living up to it. Did it help that a front office did something, like send a guy down, bring a guy up? Did that give a different feel to a locker room or a lineup that, basically, I don't think that would do it to the superstars, quote, unquote, but it might send a little bit of message. And I hate saying that. Baseball's not like any other sport, right? The message, I don't know how you would do that. But do you think the Blue Jays front office is at that point where it's time to do something and sort of try and at least send a message?
Well, yeah, I have talked to a few GMs that they said they when they've been in this situation, there is a bit of a shock move that kind of sends a shock wave through the clubhouse that kind of nobody's safe. And it does. It jars you. I remember 2018 with the Baltimore Orioles. We were expected to win. We were probably on the tail end of this winning window. Which seems a little bit – I'm not going to say the Jays are on a tail end by any means, but we were in a position where we were expected to win. It was not going well. I think we were 13-28 or something around May 17th. We had an off day in Boston, and I get a phone call. Ooh. And this is a team full of studs, and I'm some just kind of 50-50 backup catcher type, and I'm hitting 191, but Adam Jones is not playing well. Manny Machado's not playing well. Chris Davis is not playing well. You name it. The superstars are not playing well. We're not hitting. We're pitching it okay. We're not hitting at all. And I got the call, and I got sent down. And I didn't even go in the clubhouse. They did it at the hotel. I didn't even get to say bye to the guys that I've been in the big leagues with for 4 straight years. It was a shock to me. It was a shock to all of them. It didn't turn the season around, but I got a bunch of texts saying, hey, man, it's a business. It's a business time now. And so, sometimes you make moves to try and direct some of the heat in other directions. And while I do agree that, the Jays players need a lot of heat, sometimes there is a player that gets sent down where you're like, whoa, well, that's really weird. And it does. It can jolt you. But at the end of the day, our team still sucked, and we lost 115 games that year, and they blew it up by the All-Star break. And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's no science behind it. But, yeah, I was always fearful on off days when the team was struggling because it seemed like that was like the magic secret GM time to make a move. So maybe in 24 hours there's some move made. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't either.
Yeah, I left myself on at home. Off days when I was in the big leagues, if you're going to send me down, you come find me.
Yeah, you turned that cricket phone off. You threw that thing in the lake, didn't you?
Yeah, the Zach Morris phone. It looks
exactly
looks like a phone booth that you carried around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I left that thing at home, dude. You going to send me down? Come get me.
Mm-hmm.
Man, good luck finding me.
Lock yourself in the hotel.
Good luck.
Lock yourself.
What are you
in the
still
hotel
doing
room.
here? Huh? You didn't find me. Sorry about your luck.
I ain't leaving.
Caleb, good of you to do this, man, as always. Thanks so much.
Thanks, buddy. You're the best.
See you on the
When
other
you guys
side.
figure the Jays out, give me a call, all right?
Yeah, we will.
Right?
You'll probably get a call from us around 6:25. Thanks, man. See you later.
See you, buddy.